Edvard Grieg was born in 1843 on June 15th in Bergen, Norway, and he died also in Norway in 1907 on September 4th. Grieg was a very nationalistic composer. Nationalism is when you represent your country and you use a lot of your country's influences in your music. That's what Grieg did in his earlier pieces, such as Piano Concerto in A minor, Opus 16. He used melodies straight from Norwegian folk music. Later, in Peer Gynt, especially, he used his own melodies that were influenced by Norwegian folk music. Nicholas Leminski says, Grieg's importance as a composer lies in the strongly pronounced nationalism of his music. Without resorting to literal quotations from Norwegian folk songs, he succeeded in recreating their melodic rhythm and flavor. That I agree with. I think that's exactly what Grieg did, but Daniel M. Grimley disagrees just a little bit. He says, in Grieg's music, such tensions are articulated at a foreground level by the juxtaposition of elements drawn from Norwegian folk music, such as herding calls and dance rhythms, and a conventional mainstream European diatonic harmonic system. That's a lot of big words. What I understood from that was he thinks that Grieg is representative more of Europe as a whole and not just Norway, because Norway is part of Europe, so obviously they're going to be European influences. I have two examples from Peer Gynt that I think the historians are thinking of. Nicholas Leminski might have been thinking of Morning Mood, which is from the first movement of Peer Gynt, which describes the hills and the fjords of Norway, and the melody that you hear throughout the piece is which, as it gets louder, it goes into different keys, you can feel Norway through the music. Now, Mr. Grimley might have been thinking that the Hall of the Mountain King, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, is more representative of all of the tension in Europe as a whole. It goes as so. Grieg himself did not like the Hall of the Mountain King. He said it exaggerated Norwegian nationalism and self-sufficiency. It's not a very pretty piece, but I like it. Also, Peer Gynt is a very famous piece. It's been, especially the first and the last movement, have been used in various cartoons. If you watch like birds waking up in the morning or someone running away from something, you might hear one of those pieces. Also, Hans Sitt, the composer Maya played from, he arranged the Peer Gynt suite for violin and piano, maybe for one of his students. He also arranged another favorite Grieg piece of mine, Troll Dance, for violin and piano, which sounds a lot like the Hall of the Mountain Trolls. Peer Gynt is about a man called Peer, who was not liked by any of his peers. I just thought of that. Okay, and especially in the last movement, he gets into a lot of trouble running from trolls because he accidentally impregnated one of their children, troll daughters. So especially in the last movement, you'll hear Peer running for his life. However, it's not exactly in order. The movements go Morning Mood, which is supposed to give you a nice picture of the play that Peer Gynt is based on, written by Henrik Ibsen. This was the incidental music for it, the first suite, and there's a second suite, but I'm not playing. First is Norway. Second is Death of Ase, Peer's mother, one of the only people who actually liked him, and then she dies. But in the actual story, she dies later. The third movement, which I will not be playing, is about Anitra, this girl who somewhere in the Middle East where Peer travels, and she steals everything from him. So, and then the last movement, The Hall of the Mountain King, is Peer running from the trolls, which you'll probably hear. composer because he uses his dynamics and different key areas right in the style of Romantic era, contrasting with Baroque, nice, dancey, happy, classical with your memorable rhythms. You will hear a lot of rememberable stuff, but that is in the pieces, but it's not the main